Hey, it's Shane from GotRom.com. This video is how to stretch your shoulders, a simple 7-step routine. In this video, I'm going to teach you how to improve your thoracic spine, your pecs, your lats, and your shoulder internal rotation. All the key ranges of motion that you need for life and sport. So the first thing we're going to do is work on your thoracic spine, and I'm going to give you 3 options. Option 1, if you have a Swiss ball, you're going to put it on your back, and you're just going to puff your chest up like Superman and make your arms go long overhead. You can even interlace your fingers like this, straighten your arms, breathe and relax, let your chest puff up. You also could hold a weight in your hand if that feels comfortable. This is the most gentle beginner version of working on your thoracic spine posture. The next option, a little bit more intermediate version, is some kind of yoga wheel. This is the chirp wheel. So you're gonna put it on the ground, put it on your mid-upper back, make sure it's nice and stable. So notice how I got my hands here. And then you can do the same thing. You can make your arms go long, breathe and relax, hands behind your head, breathing and relaxing, or teeter-tottering back and forth, trying to get some motion in your spine, like someone was taking your spine and kind of bending it back and forth. My favorite exercise with the yoga wheel is to put my hands here and then kind of arch my chest and rock back. That allows me to get the most sort of arching sensation in my upper back compared to the other hand positions. So that's the yoga wheel for the thoracic spine. The last option, which is the most advanced, the most intense, and also my favorite, is 2 lacrosse balls. These are actually slightly larger size lacrosse balls from Massage Track, but this is an exercise that I do pretty much every day. I'm gonna get in the same position, put the 2 balls in between my shoulder blades, up on my upper back, hands behind my head, slowly steamroll up and down, or I can find a sticky spot and kind of teeter-totter back and forth, or I can pause, breathe in, become dead weight. I can make my arms go long overhead. There's no wrong way, just try to get some motion into those upper back spinal segments, which is going to help your shoulder range of motion a whole heck of a lot. The next exercise is we're going to open up your pec muscles. This is one of my favorite pec stretches, where you put your hand on top of a barbell or some object that looks like a bar, like a rail or something. Both hands go on the bar. Wider is going to be easier. Hands closer together is going to be harder. And what I don't want to have happen is have my shoulders in this position where they're kind of tipped forward and jutting out like this. What I do want is for them to be externally rotated, meaning rotated this way. And I'm going to puff my chest up. I have a soft bend in my elbows, and then I really exaggerate puffing my chest up, breathing and relaxing. I also can do a contract relax technique, where I pretend like I'm squeezing my hands together without actually moving. And I do that for 3 to 5 seconds. So I'm here, puffing up, squeeze my hands together, 3, 2, 1, relax, puff my chest up more, wiggle around. I could change my hand position if that's too easy, make it a little narrower, elbows slightly bent, puff my chest up, arms externally rotated, breathing and relaxing, or contracting and relaxing. So that's the barbell pec stretch for the shoulders. So the pec stretches are going to be really helpful if you do a lot of push-ups or dumbbell bench or barbell bench press or dips. You need a lot of shoulder extension, and if you don't have a lot of pec length, you're going to compensate in some of those movements and run into shoulder problems down the road. The next stretch is to stretch these big meaty lat muscles right here. What you're going to do is put a band up on some immovable surface, a bar, a rack. I have them hooked up to my TRX straps. This is a band that takes 30 to 60 pounds. You could even use a thicker band if you wanted. But I'm going to put the back of my wrist on the band. I'm going to crisscross the band in front so that it's very snug. There's no space here on the back of my wrist. It's very snug. And then I'm going to sit down on the ground like so. And I'm going to let my arm rainbow to the side of my body. To show you from a different angle, I've got the band hooked up around my wrist, just letting the band sort of distract my arm long. And I'm thinking about puffing this side of my body up and out in that direction, like a big rainbow on the side of my body. If you were watching me from the side, it would look kind of like that. I'm kind of puffing my lat or the side of my body up and out in that direction. And then breathing and relaxing, or taking a breath, getting tight, everything's tight, I'm squeezing all my muscles, and then relax, wiggle around, just creating a lot of length in these lat muscles. So this would be the position. The band is pulling up and over me in this direction. That's important. The next stretch is for the triceps. This can limit a lot of shoulder overhead range of motion, your ability to get your arms overhead without compensation. So I have a 20-pound dumbbell. You could start lighter if you wanted to. And what you're going to do is hold it like this, put your elbows on the bench, and bring your hips back, and then drop your chest forward, and lastly, drop the dumbbell back behind your head. And then breathe, relax. I can get my body more in a hollow position where I'm kind of crunching and tucking my tail, or I can arch a little bit as long as it's comfortable on my back. There's no wrong way, but the goal is to feel it in your triceps. So I can also slightly lift the dumbbell up a couple inches, hold my breath, relax. I can bias one side or the other by leaning a little bit in one direction or the other. There's no wrong way as long as you're feeling the stretch here on the triceps. The last thing we're going to work on is your shoulder internal rotation. When you do things like dips and push-ups, not only is it shoulder extension, but there's a slight internal rotation motion happening. So we need to work on that. One stretch that you can do is just put your hands on your hips like this, lean forward and let your elbows come forward, and kind of wiggle side to side, shake around. If you're doing it right, you should feel some kind of stretch in the back of the shoulder. You shouldn't feel any impingement feeling in the front of the shoulder. If you do, you might need to do some self-massage, some targeted tissue work on the back of the shoulder. But for now, we're just stretching our shoulders into internal rotation, like so, leaning forward, wiggling, breathing and relaxing, bouncing, or just holding the end range position, getting tight, releasing, wiggling around. Another variation of this stretch is to lay on your back, bridge your hips up into the air, tuck your shoulder blades behind you, hands go behind your back, one on top of the other, and then slowly lower down. This is moving your shoulders into internal rotation for your bench pressing and your dips and things like that. So I'm here, I come to my end range, breathe, relax, breathe and relax, or inhale, get tight. I'm pushing my hands up into my back. 3, 2, 1, release. You should be able to get all the way to the ground eventually with time without having your shoulders pop up like that. This is a compensation, and this is why your shoulders get hurt when you bench press. So tuck your shoulder blades, contract and relax, breathe and relax to get all the way to the ground over time. So that's it, a simple 7-step routine to stretch and mobilize your shoulders. If you want an even more complete 45-day shoulder program, I have something called Super Shoulders, which gives you all the tissue work, plus stretching, plus re-education strengthening exercises that you need to make your shoulders strong and mobile. So check it out at gotrom.com, and I'll see you in the next video.